Hi, is this Skip Mitchell?
It is.
Hi, my name is Jose Melendez. I'm not sure who else to speak to but the Office of Professional Responsibility. I'm trying to get information about Yemassee Municipal Court because they pulled me over illegally and they're suppressing evidence in my case. When I spoke to Tommy Robertson about this, he said he'd be interested if evidence went missing, and they're not coming forward with the Rule 5 evidence that the judge in court said they would give me. So we've got no written court date. I don't know who else to speak to. Can you point me in the right direction, Captain Mitchell?
Let's see. And you got that. Just so I know, you got full of the Yamasee Police Department.
Yeah, the Holly Hills Corporal Mann pulled me over. I was coming back from 2 days earlier where I had held my father on his deathbed.
Yeah.
And Corporal Mann decided to pull me over within that 1.5 mile range at mile marker 37, where if he doesn't pull somebody over quick, he's got to turn around. And he said that we didn't signal. We were able, it was like pulling teeth, Captain Mitchell. We were able to get them to release one of the Rule 5 evidence components that we had requested, which was the video from Corporal Mann, that's Holly Hill, South Carolina's Corporal Mann's police car. It does show that we did signal. So the public defender said that that should get it thrown out. However, that, and this is a quote from the then public defender, he's now quit and working for a private firm, Ian Dasak, said, knowing he was being recorded, he said that they are not following the law in this regard there in the lower courts. And he recommended that we beg, and then he said it again, beg Judge McKinney for a dismissal on those grounds that they're not following the law with regard to um, providing public attorneys. Well, we did say that, and amazingly enough, Judge McKinney, Her Honor, did agree. She concurred and outright agreed with what we said. And then it was as if she had heard herself admitting that she was breaking the law, and a dark cloud went over her face, and she said we had offended the court. And I was lucky to get out of there with my girlfriend and I without getting arrested. We were able to get them to admit that they lied when they pulled us over, that they lied about who was the arresting officer. Uh, they they tried to say that they couldn't give us the DVD because the chief wasn't available, and I said, "Well, we can wait. Call him." And they said, "No, he's not available." And then, fortunately for us, the person they were describing, Chief Gregory Alexander, interrupted the proceedings to berate my girlfriend. My girlfriend has PTS, so since she didn't have the floor in the court, she left the room. And on her way out, she squinted and saw Greg Alexander's badge and said, "Oh, you're Alexander, you're the chief." And he said really loud, he said, "You know who I am. You did your homework." Well, sir, we don't have an attorney, so I've been using artificial intelligence software to do legal research. And the phrase "you know who I am" is routinely used against people that threaten witnesses. We had already reported them to the FBI, and we've reported them to the sheriff. Um, I, they won't give me, they wouldn't even give me a document that said I had been there, or a receipt for the Rule 5 evidence, or a piece of paper that said what date or time we're supposed to return. They've been investigated like 3 times by the FBI. The judge before Judge McKinney, has been caught stealing $5,000 from a victims assistance fund. 2 years before, that court that had been audited by the state auditor, who said that they were overcharging for the bond rates, and that wasn't right. And the town clerk at the time, Misty Reardon, responded in writing that they had had some new people that had been let go and that they were correcting the issues. Well, now the bond rates are more than triple the maximum fine allowed by law. And when we sat through that court, they came out. The first thing they did was they came out and it was like, let's make a deal. They came out and they said, I'm here to make deals. If you want to settle this right now, we only accept cash. You go on this line for this kind of case and that line for that kind of case. And 95% of the courtroom was shuffled through those lines and left. And then the last three cases, we watched them railroad this Hispanic immigrant who needed a translator and had no attorney. And he had been charged with stealing, but the video showed that he hadn't done anything. And so Judge McKinney magnanimously said, oh, well, we're going to call this a mistake. And the next guy was a guy with PTS, a disabled veteran who had a computer car. You know, are you still there? I hear you. Okay, I had another call coming in. I thought that was you. So this disabled veteran testified, you know, no attorney. He said, look, my car has a cruise control system that keeps me within a certain range of speed, so I know I wasn't going as fast as they said. And the judge dismissed. She was dismissive of the idea of even cruise control, and for all I know, seatbelts. And they decided to charge him well over the amount that's allowed by law for his case. And then when it came time for us, well, what happened is what I said. And I don't know what to do. You know, Tommy Robertson, when I first called him, he said, well, I'll only be interested if evidence goes missing. And now he says he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And evidence is missing, and they're breaking them.
When you asked for the video,
yes.
Did you receive it?
I received one video, but we had, in writing, in court, to the clerk of court, we actually took pictures and video of the clerk of court receiving the request the next day. They had arrested my girlfriend because she was asking why they were doing this when we had signaled. And she said that she said to Captain Lodeholt that she wanted to know why they were putting the evidence. They found, you're a medical marijuana state, so they found marijuana and they put it on the hood of the car. And she said, why are you putting it on the hood of the car? Is this to shame us? And he said, Captain Lodeholt said, that's it. And he slapped on the handcuffs. And she said, well, am I under arrest? And he wouldn't answer her. And she asked like 6 times, am I under arrest? Don't I get a Miranda reading? And they would not tell her if she was under arrest or read her rights. They arrested her. The next day, we got her out of jail, and we went right down to the clerk of court and requested the Rule 5 videos from the cars and the Rule 5 video and the transcripts and recordings from the from the court hearing where she was dealing with the judge the next morning. The judge in court, when we went there, said that we could have that, and Corporal Strauss said that he would get it to us in 10 days. He has not given us anything. I mean, they know knowing they were recorded, they repeatedly lie about this case. And I don't know what else to do.
Are you trying to give you a court date on this?
Well, they said verbally that we're to come back on the 19th, but they wouldn't.
September?
Yeah, and they wouldn't give us any documentation at all. No receipt, no paperwork that showed I had been there, no receipt for the Rule 5 evidence describing what it was. I mean, look, I'm not a lawyer, but I can read, and this.
Well, it sounds like you need a lawyer.
Yeah, but there's no. They took all the money. They took my father's cremation money from my stepmother. My $615 for a maximum fine of $200. They took $615 for my bond. They took $847 for my girlfriend's bond, when the maximum is $200 for the possession and the and a little bit less for the open container. They poured out the open container, so they destroyed her evidence, and and they won't give us anything. I've called Ian Dasack. He's now working for a private firm, and he claims that for $2,000 he can handle both cases when six other lawyers. Are you still there? Okay. Six other lawyers have told me that they can't handle both cases, that they have to have $5,000 from each of us. So I'm not sure that I can.
I mean, what I was thinking, if they could work out a contingency fee.
Well, that's all well and good, but it's an unlawful stop, and they're hiding the evidence. Why do I have to pay? I mean, I don't have any money anyway, but if I did, how do I pay a lawyer who told me something that almost got me arrested, and then now?
This would be a law, a civil suit suing them.
Yes, yes.
You're in the obtaining money.
Sure. That would be great later, but for now, right now, I'm facing 6 months in jail if I get charged with contempt for trying to lawfully defend my case. This judge gets mad at a whim, and you know, with that PTS guy, the
And the attorney that you had, the
yes.
public defender, he's there. Do they still have a public defender's office?
Well,
Did they give you the name of the public defender there?
Well, you said that we had. He actually called us back and said that he was not going to be assigned. He knew that the courts were not going to assign public defenders because they were not following the law in this regard in the lower courts. And Judge McKinney said, yes, that's true. And then she got mad.
Well, I mean, you are certainly entitled. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you.
That's not true, sir. The public attorney told us that we would not be assigned an attorney, and so did the judge. The judge agreed in open court. Now, they have recordings, but they will not release them yet. They told us that we could have a recording and a transcript of the trial, of the hearing that we were at on the 16th, and the hearing that Elizabeth was at for her bond hearing. They have not sent us anything at all. No paperwork, no documentation. They are refusing to assign an attorney. I'm sorry to bother you.
No, I don't understand how they can refuse.
I agree with you. I agree with you. They're breaking the law. They're breaking all sorts of laws. If you would...
Your options right now are to go back on the 19th and is that the trial date?
They won't even answer my questions. They won't even answer my simplest questions. When I said to Corporal Strauss, he was in front of a microphone. I had not been sworn in, and he had not been sworn in for my case, for our hearing. But he had been sworn in for an earlier hearing, so I'm guessing he still has to tell the truth. When I pressed him, did you arrest Elizabeth? I'm sorry. When I said to him, you did not arrest Elizabeth, Captain Lodeholt did, right? He hung his head and did not answer. And then I asked him again, Captain Lodeholt arrested her, right? And he hung his head again and he said, yes. There's no... The town of Yemassee will not even tell me the name of their attorney. They say that they have a town attorney by the name of Johnson. They don't know his first name. They don't know his contact information. The town of Holly Hill also has a town attorney. The chief and the town clerk don't know his name and don't know his contact information. May I send you an email? I've got recordings of all of this.
Well, you can. I'm just trying to give some options about what you can do because there's nothing SLED can do.
Well, you've already investigated this judge. You gave her a 30-day suspension for stealing $5,000 and said officially, your SLED's official report says that she had endorsed and cashed the checks that were intended for the Victims Assistance Fund, but that there was no evidence she had ever possessed the checks. That's N-R-E McKinney. Yeah, but think about that for a minute. She, for years, she stole thousands of dollars, cashed checks, but didn't deposit them into her personal account. And SLED's report states that there's no evidence that she ever possessed the checks.
Well, rehashing that case, I don't know where that gets you, but I would think if you go back to court on the 19th and you record everything, if everything is what you're saying is true, then there is you have a case.
A civil case.
They can't just get away with all this stuff if what you're saying is true. And if you're told to come back on the 19th, I would be back on the 19th. And then if they ask for your return, I can't afford one. They just can't blatantly break the law.
They did. They took $847 from my girlfriend. She was just about to refinance her house to get a lower rate. Now she can't do that. She's a teacher. She was just barely making ends meet. Both of our refrigerators are empty. She's the girl next door. She teaches third grade in robotics. They are doing this. I don't know who else to turn to but professional responsibility at SLED. Tommy Robertson doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Well, professional responsibility at SLED only deals with complaints against SLED agents. It doesn't.
Well, Tommy Robertson took my report of federal and state crimes committed by officers of the court at Yemassee Municipal Court, and now tells me that despite that he told me that he would be interested if evidence was missing, now that evidence is missing, he says he doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Well, he must have talked to somebody.
Yeah, he talked to Mark Keel, apparently. Let me send you an email, at least so you know what's going on, please.
Well, you can do that if you want, but still, if you were told to be in court on the 19th, you need to be down there for that.
Well, I guess I'll have to hitchhike.
Well, I mean, if you don't, then that just.
Oh, I'm going. I'm going, and like you said, I'm recording. But
I would go down there and I'd record everything.
yeah, but think about this now. If they catch me recording, they're going to put me in jail for 6 months for contempt. I have a recording of Chief Alexander threatening Elizabeth Wallace. Now, I have to wait until they release the recording. Otherwise, I'm going to be in charge with contempt and go away for 6 months.
Well, this is something you need an attorney for. If you need to talk and say, look, I can't pay right now. I want to get through this criminal part first, then I want to sue the hell out of them and make out some kind of. I mean, you need an attorney. This is. They're doing these things.
They want someone. They want $5,000 each, man. Ian Dasak will take $2,000, but he's involved. These are.
Talk to somebody else.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry to bother you.
You need somebody to represent you, and if they understand that that when you provide them with the entire case, and they got another problem.
Yeah, you can take it. You can take.
When they take see what you got, and they see the potential for a civil case here that they could make a lot of money, they might be willing to deal with it.
Just tell me your email address. I'll get out of your hair, man. I'm sorry.
WMitchell@sled.sc.gov.
Got it. Thank you.